EPA-US-China trade war talks between the major countries failed to deliver a breakthrough. Beijing quickly warned Washington that it could not commit to buying more American goods after a third round of trade talks between the world's two biggest economies failed to deliver a breakthrough. The stalemate comes after Mr. Trump said he would move to implement $50 billion (£38 billion) tariffs on Chinese industrial exports, shortly after June 15. U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross and Vice Premier Liu He did not issue a joint statement after they wrapped up 2 days of discussions. But in a statement released on behalf of the Chinese government by the official news agency, Xinhua, China said economic sanctions on its exports would derail negotiations. The Chinese statement said, agreements between China and the United States should be based on the premise of both sides moving in the same direction and not waging a trade war. If the U.S. launches trade sanction measures, including the imposition of tariffs, then all the economic and trade benefits negotiated by both sides are not going to take effect. The U.S. and China held a previous round of talks in May, where Chinese officials said they would substantially reduce their country's trade surplus with America. Last week, President Donald Trump announced 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports from the EU, Mexico and Canada, despite previous exemptions. EPA-US-China trade war, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, speaks to Chinese Vice Premier Liu He. A US-China trade war. Donald Trump has introduced a raft of sanctions on EU countries. If the US launches trade sanction measures, including the imposition of tariffs, then all the economic and trade benefits negotiated by both sides are not going to take effect. Chinese government. The tariffs have hit products such as plated steel, slabs, coil, rolls of aluminum, and tubes, raw materials which are used extensively in US manufacturing, construction and the oil industry. They came after Republican leader announced his plans to slap a 25% tariff on steel and a 10% tariff on aluminum back in March, citing security reasons. On Friday, the EU launched a case with the World Trade Organization on China's unfair technology transfers. Brussels trade chief Cecilia Malmström was keen to stress she is not targeting any one side, with Beijing one of the driving forces behind Mr. Trump's decision to impose tariffs. She said, "We are expecting everyone to play by the rules. We are challenging the US and China. We are not choosing any sides."